The incredible story of Blanche Monnier, imprisoned for 25 years in a room by her mother, because men fell in love with her. Blanche Monnier, known for her striking beauty, had one of the most unbelievable and tragic life stories. She was French, born on March 1, 1849, in Poitiers, France. At that time, her family was considered quite well off. Her beauty, physical appearance, and personality attracted a lot of attention, and importantly, there were many who wanted to marry her. Her family, of aristocratic status, seemed indifferent to the prospect of her marriage. During her youth in Paris, she caught the attention of many men from high society. When letters began arriving for Blanche, her mother, Louise Monnier, became disturbed, leading to an inconceivable situation. One day, Blanche suddenly disappeared. For 25 years, she lived isolated from everything and everyone. Her mother, Louise Monnier, took measures to ensure no sunlight entered the room and locked her daughter away in her room forever, so no one could see her. Her family, excluding her brother and household staff, cut off all of Blanche's contact with the outside world. She was not allowed to leave her bed or attend to any basic hygiene needs. For half of her life, Blanche lay in a bed where she ate, urinated, and defecated. Her family told relatives and her friends that they had sent their daughter to a boarding school in England and that she was too busy with her schedule to consider returning. After finishing school, they said Blanche had set up her life in Scotland and wouldn't return to France. 25 years later, on March 23, 1901, a prosecutor in Paris received an anonymous letter suggesting that a renowned Parisian family was hiding something behind closed doors. There's still no information about the author of the letter, but historians believe it was written by one of the staff. The letter read, "Dear prosecutor, I wish to inform you of an exceptionally serious matter. I speak of a girl who has been locked up in Madame Monnier's house, living in filth, without food or water, for the last 25 years. Since the Monnier family was a prominent and respected name in Parisian society, the allegations were hard to believe, but authorities still went to investigate the Monnier mansion. Inspectors didn't find anything initially while touring the mansion, until they noticed a foul smell coming from one of the rooms. Approaching the room, they first noticed the padlock was rusty, indicating it had been locked for years. They immediately broke the padlock and couldn't believe their eyes. Based on what they saw and their investigations, they wrote a report. Here's a brief excerpt summarizing what they saw. A woman, skin and bones, on the verge of death, lay in a bed covered in feces and food scraps, with insects crawling over her. The air in the room was so bad and unbearable that we couldn't continue our investigation. The room was so dark that the inspectors had to break the barricades outside the window. After 25 years, Blanche saw sunlight for the first time. She told the inspectors she had been chained for 25 years. Her health was so poor that she weighed only 25 kilograms and couldn't stand on her own. When taken to the hospital, she marveled at how wonderful it was to breathe oxygen. Doctors said it was a miracle that the girl, cruelly confined to a room and motionless for so many years, was still alive. During the trial, where the entire Monnier family was interrogated, her mother, Louise Monnier, was arrested but died 15 days later in custody. Authorities believe she died of heart disease, but many think she committed suicide by overdosing on medication. Blanche's brother, Marcel Monnier, tried to defend himself by claiming his mother was guilty. Despite all evidence, Marcel was sentenced to 15 years in prison for being complicit in the crime against Blanche. Blanche was free but developed health issues like coprophilia, exhibitionism, and schizophrenia due to her 25-year confinement. Although she recovered physically to some extent, she never recovered psychologically. Blanche Monnier spent the rest of her life in a care home and closed her eyes to the world in 1913 in a psychiatric hospital.